you can talk about all these features. You could talk about a lot of the mechanics of it, but there's a couple of things that are very important on how well you see. Price is a good way to look at it. You can't build an extremely good, clear, sharp binocular for $10. It's not going to happen. You can't do it. And there's also a point at which it probably doesn't make a lot of sense for some people to spend the money. You get above $800,000, $900,000 for a pair of binoculars, you have to seriously consider how well you can actually see. Mm-hmm. And but if it's very important to get that clarity, yeah, you'll pay the money for it if you want to. But just in general looking, I don't know where the sweet spot is in this stuff, but you have to think, if you want to try to get a pair of binoculars, you see them sometimes in the little stores. You see what it's just $8, $15 for a pair of binoculars. It's a toy. It's really just a toy, and it's not going to be worth anything for really watching. But it's great to give the kid, because a week later it's going to be destroyed anyhow.
Well, now you've talked about some of these pairs you've had for 20 years.
Yes.
So, that's quite an investment in your enjoyment. So I guess it just depends on how long you think you'll use it, how much it means to you, and then, of course, what you have.
Yeah. And so to get back to, if you're going to buy a pair for your home use and you're not a super professional bird watcher or something, you may end up being that, though, if you see a good image. You go ahead and spend, I think you have to look at probably the minimum $50 or $60.
Okay.
And that's on the low end to get something that's really decent to look at, and some of them are okay. You get to the $100 to $100, $200 range, much better binoculars. You approach $200, I say $150 to $250. There's some excellent binoculars out there for $150 to $250.
Okay, so let me stop you real quick, because this is exactly what Diane Dorman Hutchins says. Learning quite a bit already. I can't stay, but we'll be back this evening to learn more. Hope you'll have suggestions for reasonably priced birding binoculars, and maybe give some brand names of things that you think might be good for, like, say, $100, $250. Do you know?
Yeah, there's, the brand names. There's several, and I'd hate to give exact brand names, because sometimes you'll see one that's in a store's name that's made by one of the brand name manufacturers. I think it's generally safe in this business anyhow. I've never seen anything where the really cheap binoculars are sold for a very high price. Typically, it's a low margin product.
Okay.
Until you get down to the real end for the $15 or $20 or $30 binoculars, there's probably a high profit margin in those things. But as you get on up, it's kind of like cameras. There's not a lot of profit for the retailer in those because there just isn't. The way they sell them, you have to discount them, because a lot of the companies out there, like the cameras, will sell them as cheap as they can, mail order. So it keeps the price down. So you're, in general, going to get what you pay for. So if you want a decent pair of binoculars, certainly right about the $100 range up to $200, $250 if you can stretch is much better. Some people say, no, you need to go to $400, but I think you can find some pretty good binoculars for that. And the brand name probably is not going to matter if you're paying that much for them, and it's a reputable dealer.